If the sweet, cozy scent of freshly baked apple pie makes your mouth water, then you're in the right place. But be warned, this behind-the-scenes look inside an industrial apple pie mega factory might just make you believe you can smell the apples through the screen. And honestly, who could resist that? Apple pie is more than just a dessert in America's tradition, nostalgia, and comfort wrapped in flaky crust. Today, we're stepping into the world where this iconic treat is made on a massive scale, yet with the same care and flavor as a homemade pie straight from Grandma's kitchen. Get ready to watch thousands of pies crafted with precision, flavor, and a touch of holiday magic. It all starts with the apples crisp, juicy, and perfectly ripe. These aren't just any apples, they're sourced from the best apple orchards. In places like Washington State, which alone produces over half the apples grown in the U.S., farmers in these regions know that apple pie demands a perfect balance of tartness and sweetness. So they pick varieties known for their baking potential. Contrary to what some might think, apples aren't just pulled randomly from trees. Whether by hand or by advanced machinery, they're harvested with incredible care to avoid bruising. In larger orchards, specialized machines gently shake the trees to release apples, simulating the soft tug of a human hand. This process ensures the fruit remains pristine before making its way into a factory. Once the apples arrive at the production facility, they're unloaded onto wide conveyor belts and transported to the first stage of inspection. They pass through cold water baths, which help clean off dirt and cool them down while preserving freshness. These water washes are more than just a rinse. They hydrate the apples while high-tech scanners simultaneously evaluate their size, color, and surface condition. Damaged or off-spec apples are automatically filtered out. The good ones continue their journey toward becoming pie filling. After the apples are washed and approved, they're dried completely using air systems. This drying process is critical before any peeling or slicing can happen. In today's mega factories, peeling apples isn't a job for hundreds of hands armed with paring knives. Instead, high-speed machines take over. These machines can peel, core, and slice thousands of apples in a matter of minutes with incredible precision. The slices are kept uniform in thickness to ensure each bite of pie delivers that signature crisp, tender apple texture. Next, the sliced core apples are tossed in large, rotating drums with a mouth-watering mix of cinnamon, sugar, and spices. As they tumble, the flavors infuse into the fruit. In some facilities, these slices are lightly cooked under steam pressure in massive steel drums that can handle up to 5 tons of filling at once, while the apples are being prepped. Another critical component is coming together: the pie crust. Now, here's where science and baking merge beautifully. Factories use chilled ingredients to form the dough, which helps produce the light, flaky texture Americans love. Cold fats, like butter or shortening, create tiny steam pockets during baking. This is the secret to a perfect pie crust. Once mixed, the dough is rolled out by giant steel rollers that adjust the thickness down to fractions of a millimeter. These rolled-out sheets are cut to size and sent along a conveyor to pie tins, where they become the base for each dessert. The prepared apple filling is portioned into the crusts with pinpoint accuracy. Sensors monitor the weight and volume of each scoop to ensure consistency across every single pie. If a pie receives too much or too little filling, it's flagged and corrected automatically. Factories waste nothing. Extra dough is reused for lattice tops, mini pies, or decorative features. The top crust is added, often a solid sheet cut just slightly larger than the pie, to allow for a good seal around the edges. Some pies get a quick spray of egg wash to give them that glossy golden finish when baked. Others are adorned with festive dough cutouts shaped like leaves, stars, or holiday symbols. Depending on the season, once assembled, the pies are either baked on site or sent for freezing. For pre-baked pies, the baking ovens are enormous. Conveyor-driven chambers where the pies bake under precise temperatures. The aroma is heavenly. Once fully baked, the pies are cooled rapidly to prevent sogginess and then frozen to lock in freshness. Smaller versions, like pocket pies or blossom-style apple pies, are also made in these factories. These are crafted with the same ingredients but molded into handheld shapes that are ideal for snacking. Often, they're baked to have chewy, caramelized edges, making them an extra indulgent treat. And just when you think this tour couldn't get more festive, we're switching gears to something completely different, those shimmering glass Christmas tree ornaments, also known as baubles. If you've ever admired a glittering Christmas tree, you've seen the artistry that goes into these delicate decorations. It starts with a glowing, syrup-like mixture of molten glass made from silica, soda ash, and limestone. Once the mixture reaches the right consistency, it's gathered in small batches and transferred for shaping. Creating those perfectly round baubles involves a mesmerizing process called glass blowing, an ancient technique modernized for speed and accuracy. Skilled workers use hollow metal rods to gather a dollop of molten glass, then blow into the tube to inflate the glass like a balloon. The glass is rotated and carefully expanded until it fills a mold, forming the iconic spherical shape. The trick is to keep the glass at just the right temperature so it's flexible enough to mold, but not so hot that it collapses. Once shaped, the ornaments are cooled using a method called annealing, which prevents cracking and solidifies the structure. To give baubles their brilliant shine, factories often use a method called inside-out painting. Rather than painting, the surface color is swirled inside the ornament using centrifugal force or delicate hand turning, which protects the finish and enhances the glossy look. Some ornaments go through a silvering process where silver nitrate is poured into the interior, reacting with the glass to create a mirrored finish. The result is that dazzling reflective surface you see on so many Christmas tree ornaments. From bold reds and icy blues to golds, greens, and even holographic sparkles. Every shade is achieved with precise pigments and swirling techniques. Machines also play a role in applying detailed patterns and holiday motifs. Screen printing, adhesive, transfers, and UV-reactive paints are all used to decorate large volumes of baubles quickly and accurately. For unique patterns or high-end collections, skilled artisans step in to hand paint or airbrush custom designs. Even Santa figurines are shaped and colored in this process, often painted one feature at a time to add character and expression. Once all designs are complete and dry, the ornaments are topped with hooks or caps and carefully packed for shipping, from holiday pies to holiday decorations. The amount of care, innovation, and passion behind these seemingly simple items is nothing short of inspiring. Whether you're biting into a slice of warm apple pie or hanging a glittery ornament on your tree, you're enjoying the result of countless hours of craftsmanship, engineering, and artistry. These mega factories may operate at a scale unimaginable in home kitchens or craft rooms, but their dedication to tradition and detail is what keeps our favorite comforts alive bite after bite and sparkle after sparkle. Let me show you how those perfectly round, shiny, fancy donuts you see in shop windows are made not by hand, but in massive quantities inside high-tech donut factories. It all begins with a spiral mixer the size of a small car whipping up thick, elastic donut dough in batches that could feed a small town. Once the dough reaches the perfect consistency, it's transferred onto wide conveyor belts and flattened into large sheets using precision rollers. But it doesn't stop there. Just like a human chef might flour their work surface, these machines dust the dough with dry flour to prevent sticking, ensuring everything stays smooth and seamless. The dough at this stage is still a bit thick, so it passes under drum rollers that carefully compress it to the ideal thickness. Any excess flour left behind is gently brushed away using roller brushes, making the dough sheet pristine and ready for cutting. Now comes the fun part, shaping the donuts. As the dough glides forward on the belt, donut-shaped cutters begin their work, punching out perfect circles with holes in the middle in one smooth motion. These shapes are as precise as if they were cut by hand, only 100 times faster. The leftover dough parts around the holes is swiftly removed by mechanical clippers and redirected to collection bins below. Those little donut holes you love? Yep, they're scooped up too, and often used to make separate treats. The remaining donut rings continue along the line, gliding effortlessly down the conveyor system, separated completely from any excess dough. Every step is designed for maximum precision. This isn't just about making thousands of donuts. It's about making them all identical in size, shape, and quality as the raw donuts move along. They head toward the proofing chambers. This is where the science of baking really kicks in. Proofing allows the yeast in the dough to activate and rise, giving the donuts that fluffy, airy interior you crave. The machines control everything: humidity, temperature, and timing, so the dough rises to perfection. Not too much, not too little. Once they're ready, the puffed-up rings head to the fryer. The donuts are gently lowered into hot oil, where they float and sizzle, frying to golden brown perfection. A smart system flips each donut at the right moment, ensuring both sides are cooked evenly. No human hands are needed. The fryer's reverse belts take care of it all, producing batches of perfectly fried donuts in just minutes. After frying, the donuts emerge glistening and hot, and are moved onto cooling belts. These belts are designed not just to cool, but to keep the donuts moving in perfect formation, aligning them for the next round of processing. While spinning gently, each donut is positioned just right to receive its filling. A set of robotic nozzles with yellow tubes precisely injects the center of every donut with sweet fillings like vanilla cream, custard, raspberry jam, or chocolate. Watching the filling disappear inside those golden rings is nothing short of mesmerizing. The donuts are then lined up like little soldiers as they head toward the dipping station. The most mouth-watering part of the whole operation. Here comes the chocolate. One by one, the filled donuts glide over a pool of hot, melted chocolate. A carefully calibrated drip system coats the tops of each donut with just the right amount of chocolate. Enough to cover, but not so much it makes a mess. As they move on, the chocolate sets slightly before the donuts head into the striping chamber. Here, another machine drizzles white chocolate or icing over the top in neat lines. It happens so fast you'd miss it if you blinked. Up to 4 donuts can be striped per second. It would take a human decorator half a minute just to finish one. That's the power of automation. Once decorated, the donuts get their final touches. Depending on the variety, crushed nuts, rainbow sprinkles, cookie crumbles, or chocolate chips are dropped on top with pinpoint precision, thanks to topping dispensers known as shredder depositors. Each topping falls evenly over the surface, adhering to the warm chocolate before it has time to set. But what about those classic, shiny, glazed donuts we all love? That's a whole different experience. The glazed donuts take a trip under what can only be described as a waterfall of liquid sugar. This waterfall is actually a thin curtain of warm glaze flowing down from an extruder pipe above the conveyor belt. As each donut passes underneath, it's coated entirely in a glossy sugar glaze that clings to the surface and hardens just enough as the donuts cool. Any excess glaze is collected below with fine sieves, recycled, and reused in the system. By the time the glazed donuts exit this part of the process, they look like they belong in a magazine photo shoot, shiny, golden, and ready to explode with flavor the moment you bite in. The donuts continue down the line, passing through final cooling sections where they set and stabilize before being boxed. Incredibly, from dough to finished donut, the entire journey takes just a matter of minutes, but behind the scenes is a complex, finely tuned ballet of machines, timing, temperature control, and food engineering. And even with all this technology, quality control is always present. High-speed cameras monitor shape and size, while automated sensors detect temperature and consistency. Look over to another line, and you'll see freshly baked biscuits heading toward a small glazing station. A fine stream of sugar glaze rains down over the biscuits, giving them a shiny finish and a sweet crunch. They're then passed through a sprinkle machine that adds festive colors and extra flavor. Everything about this station screams automation. The goal is to produce perfect biscuits with minimal human effort. It works. This particular batch is even color-themed for a special occasion. Can you guess what it is? Maybe a holiday or seasonal event. That kind of detail adds a little mystery and charm to every batch. Move a little further down the floor, and you'll find a machine that fills food into containers with uncanny precision. The operator programs a specific weight, 150 grams, and the machine delivers that amount every single time without missing a drop. Whether it's cookie dough, salad, or something savory, the machines don't flinch. They work quickly and cleanly, offering the perfect alternative to manual labor. Next to that, you'll find similar machines equipped with syrup and oil nozzles used to dress dishes, drizzle sauces, or glaze items without a mess. Everything is automated, efficient, and tailored to bulk production needs. And if cookies are more your thing, you'll love the cookie cutting station. Dough is rolled into massive sheets and fed into a cutter that stamps out perfect shape stars, hearts, circles, you name it. These cookie shapes then travel to a filling machine that drops a generous spoonful of thick berry paste right in the center of each one. Another roller lays a top sheet over the filled cookies, and a cutter seals the edges, forming the final cookie sandwich. The entire sheet moves forward, getting prepped for baking. It's mesmerizing to watch the dough become something beautiful without a single hand touching it. Now we're watching that massive sheet of rolled dough again, this time used for one of your favorite bakery sweets. The dough is kneaded, flattened, and layered with fillings, then rolled tightly into a log or pastry. Rollers guide the sheet forward in perfect alignment, pressing and folding where necessary, all without human help. That's the beauty of automation machines that are smart enough to roll, shape, cut, bake, and even decorate with zero interruptions. From dough prep to final packaging, this entire process runs like clockwork. What makes it all so remarkable is not just the scale, but the precision. Each product, whether a chocolate-covered donut, a filled biscuit, or a glazed cookie, is made with consistency that even the best baker would struggle to replicate manually. It's this flawless uniformity that makes mass production so powerful. You're not just getting speed, you're getting perfection with every bite. And don't think it ends here. If you're as fascinated by food production as we are, there's a whole world of mesmerizing machinery, behind-the-scenes processes, and industrial magic waiting to be explored.